Okay, picture this. You're diving into a new explainer, expecting the usual, right? Reams of data, dense articles, maybe some complex historical timelines to come through. But today, we are doing something completely different. Honestly, it's a lot more philosophical. Our entire source material for this explainer is literally just one single haunting phrase: the mystery of the Lost Colony of Roanoke. That's it. But man, within that brief 8-word phrase lies an absolute masterclass in framing one of the most enduring puzzles in human history. We aren't going to sit here and invent facts or pull from dusty outside textbooks today. Instead, we're going to look strictly at what this specific phrasing communicates to us on a foundational level. We're going to deeply deconstruct the text itself, piece by piece, to see exactly how it frames the unknown and why this specific combination of words has absolutely gripped the human imagination for centuries.
Let's zoom in on the sheer weight of this single word extracted right from our text: lost. Just sit with that for a second. It immediately confronts us with an absolute, terrifying void. Think about the severe, almost chilling finality of that word. The text doesn't say the misplaced colony, it doesn't say the relocated colony. It forces us to face a total, uncompromising absence. It implies that something fundamentally supposed to be there, something highly physical, tangible, grounded in reality, has simply ceased to be accounted for. When an individual loses their way, sure, it's an emergency. But when a massive settlement is officially declared lost, it sets this profoundly dark tone of finality that anchors the entire historical enigma we're analyzing today. It completely strips away any comforting nuance of, say, migration or gradual decline. It just leaves us staring directly into a sudden, inexplicable vacuum.
So that brings us to a really fundamental question. What does it truly mean for an entire settlement to just completely vanish? I mean, a single person can get lost in the wilderness, right? A small item can slip between the cracks. But a collective, an entire established settlement of people with homes, tools, routines, and social structures? The framing here really forces us to grapple with the sheer, almost incomprehensible scale of this disappearance. It strongly implies a total breakdown of communication, a complete severing of ties between the known, mapped world and this very specific group of human beings. To declare a whole community lost means that every single safety net, every scout, every possible means of contact, they all failed, and they failed simultaneously. It's a genuinely terrifying proposition, honestly. It elevates what could be a mere historical footnote into a full-blown psychological thriller.
And this, right here, perfectly illustrates why this historical event is explicitly labeled a mystery. That's a status that inherently communicates an event that is actively, stubbornly defying explanation. It's like a giant puzzle with missing pieces. This word doesn't just describe something that happened way back in the past, it actually categorizes our relationship to that event right now, in the present day. By cementing the word mystery right at the very front, the phrasing tells us that, despite endless human curiosity, despite literally centuries of searching and theorizing, the void remains utterly unfilled by answers. It's an active, ongoing state of not knowing. And you know what highlights the ultimate frustration of historians? Think about it. We have the tools to dig up ancient cities. We can translate dead languages. But this particular event continues to actively resist our understanding. It remains as totally opaque today as it was the moment the absence was first discovered. No way around it.
Now, when we take that ongoing, deeply frustrating mystery and we pair it with the word colony, well, that drastically elevates the stakes of the whole tragedy. We're suddenly reminded that we are talking about human lives here, collective endeavor. We aren't just looking at an empty geographical spot on a map. Think about what a colony actually represents at its core: its hope, its complex infrastructure, families, long-term future building. It requires massive amounts of planning, incredible bravery, and immense resources. So, deliberately pairing the concept of being permanently unaccounted for with a massive, organized human ambition, it turns a mere historical anomaly into a profoundly deep human tragedy. It's not just that a patch of land was abandoned. Actually, scratch that. It's more like the total evaporation of human ambition straight into the unknown. Every dream, every hand-built structure, every individual life wrapped up in that settlement is just swept right into the void.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how these three distinct conceptual elements combine to perfectly frame this historical enigma. Look at how beautifully structured this phrase actually is when we break it down into its core components. First, we have the status, a mystery. That's our current state of affairs, the ongoing intellectual puzzle that continues to baffle us today. Then, the event, the lost colony. That's the human tragedy, the sudden, mind-bending physical vanishing of an entire society. And finally, the location, Roanoke, the only tangible, physical, geographical anchor we have left to hold on to. These three elements work together in perfect symmetry, communicating the what, the where, and the ongoing why of the situation. It is incredibly, incredibly rare for a historical record to be so utterly reduced to just three stark data points like this. We know what it is, we know what happened, and we know exactly where it occurred, but we have absolutely zero how or why. And honestly, That incredibly sparse symmetry is exactly what gives the event its enduring, magnetic power over us.
When we juxtapose these core concepts side by side, we start to reveal the true dual nature of this historical narrative. It's fascinating. On one hand, we have the mystery, representing the unsolved. This is the purely intellectual gap, our ongoing lack of concrete answers. It represents that restless, itching curiosity that keeps historians awake at night, endlessly searching for a logical explanation to what seems like a completely illogical event. But then, standing directly across from that intellectual puzzle, we have the concept of being lost, representing the vanished. This focuses entirely on the stark, physical tragedy, the literal, terrifying absence of human beings who simply cease to be. This phrasing brilliantly balances the high-minded, intellectual puzzle of the mind with the raw, tragic, physical reality of the material world. It forces us, the audience, to be both detectives trying to crack a case and mourners recognizing a massive human loss, simultaneously.
To wrap up this explainer, let's reflect one last time on this monumental phrase that stands completely alone. Just 8 words. But these words carry the immense weight of human ambition, geographical isolation, and an enduring historical void that absolutely refuses to be filled. It leaves us staring into the dark with the ultimate unsettling question. What exactly does it take for an entire established colony to become nothing more than a mystery? How does a collective, organized human endeavor simply vanish from the face of the earth, leaving behind absolutely nothing but an unsolved title? It's wild to think about. Keep the fragile nature of history in mind the next time you hear a tale from the past. Thank you so much for exploring the deep philosophical weight of this enigma with me today. It's been a blast diving into this with you, and I will catch you on the next explainer.